I think I should have worn my glasses. So I have a disclaimer. There are 3 words that you will not hear me speak this evening that start with the letter P. Poop. P are penises. What I want to talk to you about is me, because I'm a psychic with a vagina. There are 2 common questions that most people ask me when they find out that I'm a psychic. Who in your family had the gift? And I always look perplexed. I'm like, the gift? The only thing I inherited from my family was the fat gene. The second is, when did you know that you were psychic? I was 5 years old when I had this thought that one day I was going to read people's minds. 5 years old, I can't even read my own mind, never mind have to be reading someone else's. So I had this brilliant idea. I'll take my tiny little fingers and put them around my tiny little neck, and I'll choke myself. So here I am in my bedroom trying to choke myself, and my mother, who just happens to be Sicilian, walks by and she says, "Chrissy, what are you doing?" "Ma, one day I'm going to read people's minds and I don't want to." "If you don't take your hands off your neck, young lady, I'm going to choke you myself." I probably should have let her do it. First time I ever saw a ghost, I was 9 years old. It was the 70s. We lived in a 3-story townhouse. My parents were having a party. That meant the children were up in the attic, because that's where we played. Now, I can't tell you what we were actually playing in the attic, because realistically, my brothers were there, and it wasn't spin the bottle, because that's just gross when you're a 9-year-old. So I'm sitting there, and my brother's doing something, and I look at him, and I see this man who's starting to appear behind my brother. So I'm looking behind him, and I'm like, what the hell is that? So this guy appears, and he's very tall, he's thin, he's got dark hair, sunken in eyes, a 5 o'clock shadow, and he had tattered clothes. And I'm like, who let the hobo in the house? So I start realizing that this isn't someone that's supposed to be in the house, so I start screaming hysterically. I'll spare you the noise. My brother looks at me and he starts with, as I'm still doing it, "Chrissy, shut up! Shut up! If you don't shut up, Mom's coming up the crack!" Mom's here. Right across the face, I'm still screaming. She's trying to get me out of my hysteria. And I look at her and she goes, "Now, young lady, you get downstairs right now." So I look at my brother, I look at the ghost. I look at my brother, I look at the ghost. Then I look at my mother. And as I'm walking down the stairs following her, because you never, if anyone's Italian, you always listen to a mother who's Sicilian. I'm walking down the stairs, and the ghost disappears into the rafters. We get downstairs, and she says, "Now, I told you the kids are supposed to be seen and not heard." So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Okay, Ma," but I had just seen a ghost. So she sits there, and she hands me a ring ding from the pantry. It was in a foil wrapper, and she says, "Chrissy, eat this." And I thought, now, should I just tell my therapist where it started, that I started eating a ring? So she hands me a ring ding. I take that foil little wrapper and I look at it, and I remember thinking to myself, I just saw a ghost, and all I get is a ring ding? 22 years I've been in private practice. And there's this common thread that people actually have when they talk to me. I have many people that I'll talk to that I've never met before. So I'll get an email, "Hey Kris, I had a dream and you were in it." And then I'll get a phone call, "Kris, I had a dream and you were in it." Now I'm on a phone session with someone I've never met in my entire life. They're living off in East UPP, I don't know where they're from. And they'll start with, "Kris, I got it. You had a dream and I was in it." How'd you know? So there's only one question that I ask every single person that says, "Kris, I had a dream and you were in it. Was I thin?" Thank you, everybody.